Well, again, I think our team is excited about the victory Saturday night. We got a chance to look at it yesterday, correct some of the mistakes we made, look at some of the plays that we made, the awareness plays that I thought we made. And so now we open up this week with our first conference opponent, Rice, with the defending Conference USA champs. And David Bailiff has done a great job there of steadying the program and obviously building it. It's been a tough place to win, but he has done a great job of recruiting. He's got a really good coaching staff, and they play hard. I mean, you watch them on film, they play hard, they play relentless. You're going to have to play good football to beat them. They don't turn it over. Unfortunately, this year they haven't gotten a bunch of turnovers, and that's hurt them. But one thing you see is you see a team that plays hard, plays for each other. They won a lot of close games last year, which is a reflection of that. So we anticipate them coming here, playing their best, trying to get their first win of the season, and hopefully we'll be able to build on a little bit of the momentum we've had here at home the last two games and fight like heck for a victory Saturday night.
Coach, winning these close games, as opposed to last season, sometimes wasn't able to get it done in the end, but this year able to do it. What do you think it does for your team knowing that if the game does get close, you guys can pull it out with a win?
Well, we didn't have a lot of close games last year, so it's hard to pull it out in the end when you're not playing as well. And but I think what it shows, we've had a number of instances in games where we've come up with big plays, whether it's been a goal line stand at Mississippi State, whether it was Alcorn State where we get a fumble in the score zone, or last week they're on the 1 yard line and we push them back, or then we strip and get a fumble. We've come up with some big plays. And then at the end of the game, the blocked extra point, and then really the onside kick where James Cox knocks it out of their guy's hands, which is a real awareness play. You can't get it, knock it out of bounds. I just think when you're always talking about play 60 minutes and play to the end and play for each other, I think these moments help build what you're trying to build, and that you just play the next play. You don't ever know. You just play the next play, and I think our guys did that.
You talk about momentum, and really for the first time since you got here, there is some momentum, there is some confidence. I mean, can you feel a difference in the locker room like yesterday, and that the guys are maybe getting some mojo or swagger?
Well, there's nothing like winning. I mean, winning cures a lot of things. It does. Now, it's a byproduct of what you do on a daily basis and what you create, the culture you create, the players you recruit. So those things are true. So, but I thought I could see that in the spring and in the summer and the fall camp that we were doing it better. Now, what that led to, I don't know. But I certainly know we're doing it better. I'm doing it better. Our staff's doing it better. Our players are doing it better. So that's going to give you a chance. What we were 3 weeks ago is not the team we are today. We don't want to be the team this weekend that we were this past week. It's every day, how do I build? And the teams that end up at the end playing for something continue to get better. They didn't dwell on the losses, and they didn't dig too high over the wins. I mean, we're a team that is still working towards being what we want to be. Like I said after the game the other night, you don't have to be the best team in the country, the best team in your conference every Saturday. You just got to be the best team on the field. And that's what we're striving for this week. What is it that Rice does that poses problems for us? Offense, defense, and kicking game. And then let's go attack it and put our players in position to make plays and be consistent with what we did. There were times on Saturday we weren't on both sides of the ball, but we are getting better in those areas.
Go ahead. Obviously, you don't like the missed field goal that Acosta had this weekend, but with the 3 touchdowns, it brings the ratio a little closer to even with 8 field goals and 5 touchdowns on the season. So do you like to see that kind of efficiency, especially in the red zone?
Well, you're never going to win if you have to try field goals. The bottom line is that's what hurt the team that we played. I mean, forget whether they made them or didn't make them. I mean, you've got to score touchdowns. You want to win games, you got to score touchdowns. It's one of the 5 ways you win. So we're going to do a better job of how we scheme things in the score zone and red zone, how we go about putting ourselves in position to score touchdowns, because that's what it's all about.
Stats may be a little misleading in regards to Rice's passing efficiency, but what about their defense? kind of gives you a mindset that you guys can attack it.
Are you talking about their passing efficiency defense?
Well, passing defense in general, but
Passing defense. Well, again, stats are skewed because they played Notre Dame and they've played Texas A&M, and then they played Old Dominion with a senior quarterback that's played a number of years, a really good player. So it's going to be skewed when you play good players. You play good quarterbacks, it's going to be skewed. They're going to make you look. They're going to expose you, in a number of ways. And A&M's got good receivers. Notre Dame does, and so does ODU. So again, I don't look at it that way. Sure, there's players you look at, there's scheme you look at, but it still comes down to how we do it. You're going to get some opportunities to make plays, and do we make those plays? And do we put our players in position to make those plays? That's true with both sides. Whenever you break down a game, especially when it's an even an opponent where you think that, hey, we do some things well, you don't get exposed as much. Again, it's how do we do it better than they do it. That's really what it's going to come down to. How do we do things better? How do we run the ball? How do we protect? And how do we throw it better than they defend it?
You game plan for Saturday's game kind of the same as you did against Alabama? I mean, do you feel like, having a pass-heavy attack, or do you want to continue to try to be balanced? Well,
you want to be balanced, and so it's. But I do believe in trying to create explosive opportunities for your team. I mean, it's as we talk about all the time. It's turnovers, it's explosive plays on both sides, it's third down conversions, it's lost yardage plays, it's touchdowns in the red zone. So, okay, if that's how you win, nothing about that says yards. So those are the statistics that you focus on. Okay, how do we not turn it over? How do we get explosive plays? Sometimes that can be tough. Okay, how do we get space players in space? How do we run the football to set up some of those explosive plays? So we are capable of running the ball better. We should have run the ball better. There were some things we left on the table. But again, that's got to be part of it. And that's always been, when I've been a part of an offense, how do we find a way? I don't care if it's back when we were running, power football with Les Miles, or we were at Oklahoma State being spread. It's how do you create explosive plays for your offense, convert on third downs, and score touchdowns without turning it over.
You mentioned Rice winless on the season, hungry for that first win. You guys know about that. What concerns you about a team maybe extra hungry to get that first win of the season?
Doesn't concern me. It's taken me 25 years to not look too much into, hey, they lost last week, they won last week, they've got guys banged up, I don't know the mentality of their team. I have no idea. Trust me, David Bailiff will have that team ready to go. That's a prideful team. They're not going to just all of a sudden say, oh, the woe is us. No, they're going to come out here ready to go. A divisional game. So the reality is, what I can control is our team. What we do starting tomorrow and then Wednesday, how we prepare, how we get our guys ready, and making sure we come up with a great plan to attack them, and that we play our best football, and we just continue to play our best football. We have to expect we're going to get a really good Rice team that's well coached, and I doubt we'll see anything but that. But that has nothing to do with us, how we prepare and how we're ready to go Saturday night.
Is this a game where you might put more on, you might let your secondary handle its business more, because they run Rice, again, look at the numbers, which could be good or bad, but they seem to run the ball well. I mean, is this a game where maybe you focus more on trying to stop the run and let the secondary kind of play, be more responsible for?
Well, again, it's pick your poison. They've got some experienced wideouts that are explosive, that'll make explosive plays, and a quarterback that can hurt you running and throwing. So it's hard to say, okay, we're going to challenge the box and just really load it up and not pay attention to guys that are capable of explosive plays. But you're always trying to make a team one-dimensional. I don't care where that is. You're trying to stop them from whatever it is. What do they really want to do? They really want to put you in run-pass conflicts. This is the 5th week in a row with a team that wants to do that. They really want to spread you out and put you in run-pass conflicts, run some play action. They do a great job of looking to the sideline, getting themselves in the right play offensively. I think they do a really good job. And so our biggest thing is, how do we create turnovers? How do we not give up explosive plays? And how do we just That's one thing I thought we did Saturday night. I don't think they got a number of explosive passes that went over our head. There was a couple of runs that got out and a couple of throws that I thought, but I don't think we gave up the quick strike that just, disheartens your team and turns over the scoreboard. So that's the biggest thing. How do we eliminate the eye violations? But the reality, they're more than just that as a team. Prove it in the second half against ODU when they threw it really well to get back in the game.
Nick's turnovers, you pretty much self-analyzed them in post-game. What did you see on those plays?
Well, Nick missed Tuesday of last week, and then he only practiced half of Wednesday. And there was a number of things besides the turnovers that he wasn't as sharp. We probably had too many little things that we saw against Appalachian State that we were trying to do. The first turnover, that when we were backed up, he spent too much time looking down the middle of the field, got his eyes back to the corner route, didn't see the corner. If he's going to spend the time down the middle of the field, he's got to drop it down to our H who's coming underneath. That was just, hadn't done it enough. We got to analyze that we rep that play enough to where when he gets in those situations, he knows exactly where to go with the ball. That's all of us. The second one was a post-wheel combination that, again, that one probably, if anything, he made his mind up. That's where I'm going with it, as opposed to the wheel that's open for a big gain. But again, we've got to look at it and say, hey, have we repped that enough with Nick Mullins to where he understands what you're going to get in that formation, what we do? So everything we have to look at, did we put him in enough situations to where he's run that enough to where he's comfortable with all the looks we can get? Nick has done a great job of not trying to turn it over. I don't anticipate this is something that's going to continue. I think we're going to get a full week out of him this week, and I anticipate he'll play well.
Speaking of Mullins, I guess he appeared in maybe 7-8 games, started I think 6 of them last year, and now started 4 this year. Is he starting to feel like a second-year player now that he almost has that full season under his belt?
No doubt. And the thing that hurt us the other Saturday night was just lack of practice. So there was just some little nuances, and I think he got dinged a little early in the game, and that kind of threw him off a little bit. So we got to do a good job protecting him so he doesn't get hit so dang much, and yet trying to create explosive plays. But Nick's, like I say, he's intelligent, highly competitive, mentally tough. He'll bounce back. He understands what happened, and he's good at processing it and moving forward. He's only going to get better. That was probably over the stretch of whatever it be, 9 games. That was probably the first one where he would even admit it probably took a step back. Not back as in, no, just, okay, some things just weren't as sharp as he had been as he just kept building. But again, the better we play around him, the better he's going to play.
Getting those first 2 rushing touchdowns of the season, what do you think it did for your offensive line and your running back core as a whole?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think we've been close to having it. We had a foolish penalty against Alcorn that stopped it, and then we played 2 really good teams that are hard to run the ball on. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't overreact one way or another. I mean, you play Alabama and you play Mississippi State, you don't have a rushing touchdown, and you can't overanalyze it, and then you play a couple other opponents. The bottom line is we have to find a way to run the ball, find a way to comfortably hand the ball off and score touchdowns with your running backs. So, again, we're going to still have to be creative how we do that, and we'll have to do a great job of that this week against a good Rice front.